Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, tape live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. A little bit later on today, we've got our bonus episode, Overrun. That happens at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. If you're a Twitch sub, if you're a YouTube channel member, or if you're a patron at $5 or more, you can check out that bonus episode. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about last night's Monday Night Raw with the re-debut, the return of Braun. Get these hams. Braun Strowman. We're going to talk a little about Triple H pleasing the people there at WWE and getting elevated with his new promotion. But first, the entire wrestling world is talking about the big backstage brawl between CM Punk and the Elite. Larson, I think we've got some more details. Would you like to shed some light on these details?
Sure. So since we did our video yesterday on this fight, we got more details. Of course, the fight apparently, allegedly, broke out between the Elite CM Punk following Punk's post-all-out media scrum. Now, both PW Insider, Wrestling Observer, are reporting that there is some uncertainty about who turned the altercation from maybe just verbal to physical. Both Meltzer and Alvarez state in the latest Wrestling Observer Radio they have reached out to all that were involved in the fight, but no one would offer comment, quote, pending legal issues. Neither Dave nor Brian have any idea about how this will be sorted out by Tony Khan, though Dave speculated that Punk may walk if something happened to Ace Steel. I'd imagine some sort of disciplinary action or being fired. But based on reports from Fightful, Select, PW Insider, Wrestling Observer, there's some details that remain consistent through all the various accounts. One, Young Bucks and Kenny apparently confronted Punk following the media scrum, and then Punk threw some punches, seemingly in the direction of Matt Jackson. Two, Ace Steel got involved and threw a chair that hit Nick Jackson, and apparently bit Kenny Omega and pulled his hair. Fightful Select reports that Ace has a lot of heat on him due to his involvement, with sources telling Fightful they don't think Ace would remain with the company following the brawl. Security was called in to break up the melee, and the two sides were eventually separated, though there was still some arguing going on until the Elite left. Meltzer mentioned that at some point police became involved, though Fightful reached out to the local police, who didn't have a record of a police report being filed or any documentation that police were requested. Both Fightful and Wrestling Observer state there are rumors of Punk sustaining an injury during the skirmish, but nothing has been confirmed. Both Dave and Brian mentioned on Wrestling Observer Radio that the Young Bucks did not tell them about the Colt Cabana Punk rumor. Fightful noted in their initial report of the backstage reaction before news of the fight got out of Punk's media scrum. Quote, for the record, Fightful originally reported the Punk Cabana news this year, and we've never spoken to Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks outside of interviews. In their latest update on the situation, Fightful Select reports that almost every source that they've spoken to weren't too keen on how, quote, CM Punk handled things at all that evening, and several AEW stars told Fightful that, quote, they don't understand how Punk couldn't be let go after this.
Yeah, there's a lot to get through here, and I don't know that mediation is going to be the thing that you do. If what Dave Meltzer is saying and his speculation is Punk's, one of his closest friends was what they're saying, Ace Steel. If the reporting on the actual melee backstage seems to be consistent among many sources. And if those things are real, if those things are fact, if Ace Steel threw a chair and bit a dude, there ain't no other recourse of action. You can look at the HR pamphlet here, and clearly it says when a dude bites another guy and throws a chair at a dude, he's gone. You're gone. You're done. Eddie Kingston was suspended for a couple weeks for attempting. Apparently, not even attempting to pie face Sammy Guevara. Now, I understand, and although I don't necessarily agree with it, the idea that, well, Eddie Kingston's not business-wise as important as CM Punk, right? I can understand how that philosophy could fly with some people. So Punk's not gonna. But here's the thing: Punk has done this with the Elite, with Hangman, with Colt Cabana. There's no telling who else. It's like he ain't Michael Jordan, right? What did Michael Jordan? Oh, I took that personally. And then he would eviscerate people. But the thing is, he would do that to his opponents primarily. He would usually use like that kind of stuff to motivate.
Unless you were Scott Burrell, yeah.
Unless you're Scotty Burrell, exactly. But I don't know. Like this is bad news. Honestly, it just comes off.
Yeah.
It comes off like either people who are close to Punk are either walking on eggshells trying to justify some way that he's like not at blame here. And even that's bad. You know, like I don't know how you resolve this. And let me ask you that this is pure speculation, probably borderline irresponsible. But the whole pending legal issues. Well, here's one thing we do know. Sean Ross Sapp, I think, confirmed that the police were not called out to that after All Out. Now, it doesn't now. Just because they weren't doesn't necessarily mean that nobody's going to press charges because you can wait. But
yeah, and also if for whatever reason it wasn't the local police, wasn't Hoffman Estates police, but maybe some other police force was there doing work. I would think that now it's entirely possible somebody could press charges. Pending legal issues could mean a number of things. Yeah,
including figuring out buyout contract situations to send Punk on his way. If I'm Tony Khan and somebody's sitting there next to me doing that, I don't care how much they mean for my business. Like, you have to understand he ain't the end all be all.
Yeah.
And just for that performance at the media scrum alone, I'm feeling embarrassed beyond belief to the point where I'm like, I've got billions of dollars. I don't need you. You need to go. That's just me. That's just the kind of ego I have. I couldn't imagine the ego on a guy like Tony Khan who loves doing these 3-hour media scrums, feeding the hell out of his ego. You know what I mean? Like, just out of a sense of pride.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is nuts. The Ace Steel bit a dude, allegedly.
Threw a chair, apparently hit Nick Jackson in the eye.
Allegedly.
That could have caused someone could have got seriously hurt.
I know.
You just throwing chairs around.
Yeah.
That's exceptionally irresponsible. And yeah, you're right. If the details of this incident backstage are accurate, and Ace Steel, who is a producer for the company and has a leadership role, his concern as a producer for AEW should be to de-escalate the situation, not escalate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If this is true, he's got to be out of there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, dude, I don't know. And if he's gone, what does that mean? Like, here's the thing. No matter what, you have to do something that's going to rub Punk the wrong way. Whether it's firing your friend, even suspending Ace Steel for a month. Like, let's see he does that. That might rub Punk the wrong way. And then who knows what he's going to say at the next media scrum? Who knows what he's going to say with the live mic on Dynamite?
Well, in all honesty, Punk should be suspended for throwing punches.
Yeah. Yeah.
He should be fined. He should be suspended because as we've seen the last few months, there's simply no law backstage in AEW right now,
Right. Yeah.
And if Tony Khan wants to get this stuff under control, he's got to use a firm hand and let people know this shit ain't acceptable.
Yeah.
Is not acceptable. That means, if need be, firing people. It means suspending people. It means fining people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't have this stuff going on.
Yeah. It's absolutely nuts. It is absolutely nuts. And
I'll add this. Since we don't know what led to this becoming physical, we don't know. That's like one aspect of the story that is a bit nebulous still, is about what and how this went to a physical confrontation. If any of the EVPs were physical in any way with Punk or Ace Steel before punches started throwing, they need to be disciplined too.
100%, 1,000%. Absolutely. You walk in there and you start peacocking. Honestly, that I understand being upset with somebody, and I don't know what the exact history is backstage. I'm sure it's complex.
Yeah.
But as EVPs, you need to be de-escalating things as well.
Yes.
And I don't know, but then again, it's wrestling. They're doing wrestler things, and but yeah, you would think again in the HR booklet. I don't know if EVP should be going in peacocking people.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I understand it's human nature. Someone just went out there and ran you down for a minute, so you want to go and confront them and get an explanation for it. I understand that aspect of it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
At the same time, yeah, you have official titles in this wrestling company. You can't be going in there and stirring the pot.
Yeah. But again, you know, we don't know the particulars. Maybe they were at their wits' end. I don't know. Maybe they did go in there hot-headed and they should have thought better about it. But you see this guy running a dude just says he can't fucking manage target, which, by the way, I would assume that managing a target is probably pretty difficult.
I would think so.
I'm just throwing that out there. It's difficult to find.
Not only did
help.
CM Punk throw shade at a bunch of people in AEW, he threw shade at Target as well.
Right, exactly.
Making it seem like it's easy to manage this huge department store.
I go to Target quite a bit.
Same.
Several Targets in my area, and they all seem really well run, but it doesn't seem easy to do that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, look, cooler heads definitely, but honestly, like this dude gets up there and the first thing he says is, you guys are fucking dummies, or you're not in receipt. You can't manage a target.
Yeah.
I understand heat of the moment stuff, but I also agree that, you know, loud words and actually throwing a punch they are two different things. They are two different things. Yeah, new being of the elite dropped today. There was no mention of any of that stuff.
There was no mention. Okay, I saw that it dropped just before we started. Yeah, and then on Wrestling Observer Radio, they did confirm that, yeah, it just, the scrum started and Punk was one that brought up Colt Cabana. Mm-hmm. It just went from there. So it seemed like he went into that scrum with every intention of airing all his grievances.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just unprofessional. It's just simply unprofessional.
Like I said, if it's as simple as like, hey, before we get started, I just want to address something. I have no part in Colt Cabana losing his job, whatever. And it tells you different is wrong. Just that. Just say that.
Right.
It's out of the way.
The fact that you then bring up Hangman Page.
Everything else.
And again, this is what boggles my mind. He brings up Hangman Page weeks after he had gone off on him in that promo. So the fact that this hadn't been resolved from then until All Out is also squarely at the feet of Tony Khan and the EVPs. The fact that they didn't say, hey, look, you can't, like, that was not, you're not in a feud with him. You got to bring that to us. Like, this isn't, let's go get a receipt out there. That's not how this works. And if Tony Khan thinks that, hey, this is like the 90s and I want it to be like ECW and WCW. No, those companies were not around much longer after that shit went down, man.
Nope.
And so, yeah, like it's kind of shocking to me that he would then still bring that shit up unprompted, by the way.
I know.
I even think that, like, I know it was Nick Hausman who initially was like the journalist that he was talking to, but I still don't know if there was an actual I think on Denise Media Scrum, maybe Denise's version of the Media Scrum, which sadly Denise's Media Scrum did not have, Denise Salcedo's YouTube channel did not have the weird microphone modulation. That was only the microphone, because I think she was using her own camera microphone.
Yeah. It must have been something with the live stream broadcast, probably.
Yeah. But no, shout out to her. She has like over 400,000 views on that one. But my preference is for the low microphone like this.
Yeah. Everybody's got Darth Vader voice. It's a crazy situation. I'm sure we're gonna get more information as the days and weeks go by.
Dynamite. How is Larson? How's Dynamite gonna start? I'll
tell you this: if CM Punk comes out and opens Dynamite, I guess we kind of know what's gonna happen.
Okay. So who is this? Frank Penguin here says Alvarez says there was no question that preempted the rant.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Punk can't open. There's no way.
You wouldn't think so, but if he does, we know what we know.
You want to do a special live watch along?
Yeah, I could do that
on Wednesday.
I could do that.
So do a channel point bet if we go up 10 minutes early. Do a channel point bet. Does Punk open?
On who? Yeah, that's a good idea. Meltzer was quick to point out on radio that he would expect Tony Khan to react to this situation similar to how he did the Jeff Hardy arrest, in that he took his time, he got all the information before taking action.
Yeah.
And if it takes him a while to get all the information, maybe he'll just kind of carry on his business as usual, which would be a bad idea, I feel like. Because then you're just putting out the perception that, well, it didn't matter, or I'm not going to discipline anybody. Punk's still going to open the show. And you might get this whole investigation off on the wrong foot. I think until you know what the deal is, you just take them all off TV.
I think, I think you're probably right about that. Although, I mean, I don't know, man. You've got, today is, what is today? Today's Tuesday. You got till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ondem here says, and I think what you're alluding at, he needs to temporarily suspend Punk and the Elite until everything is known, or until, like, look, if it's, on air, like Tony either opens it with a videotape message or something saying, hey, due to the comments, the unprofessional conduct at the media scrum and what happened afterwards, our champion CM Punk has been suspended for, 30 days, and he's been forced to vacate the title or something like that. You got to honestly, he can't be the face of the company anymore. Like, that's just not gonna.
Not with the way he basically set fire to it.
Yeah.
No, that's a tough situation to be in. When the guy who's your top star, the face of your company, went and talked as if he had basically zero respect for most people in said company.
Yeah. Well, what you should do, say, so here we go. We're stripping CM Punk of the title. We could do a tournament, but we all know Mox is going to win it. So we're just going to give him the damn title back. Mox comes out. He gets all sorts of Mox chants. And then, I don't know, MJF comes out to challenge Mox, and then Mox just eats him.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
I don't know. It's
MJF will probably open it, and he'll say some shit.
Oh, yeah, he will.
He'll say some shit. Yeah, I think probably MJF's got to open it. That was the big story. It was his return.
It really
was the
big
big story. I think he opens it.
And the spotlight should be on him because it was pretty much snatched away from him moments after the show ended. So
yeah. I think, dude, I get the Yeah. Anyways,
we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're not backstage. We don't have all the details.
Yeah, man.
We can only base, our thoughts on what has been reported.
Yeah. Reported.
But
so
we'll see.
Here's my prediction, my early prediction right now: suspensions, and MJF opens Dynamite. That's my prediction right now. All right, let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Larson, more pro athletes are speaking out about the importance of mental health these days, and we've seen several top stars take time away to tend to their own mental well-being. But pro athletes aren't the only ones who need to take care of their mental health. Therapy is the best way for anybody to stay in peak mental shape.
Yeah, there was a point in my life where I was dealing with severe anxiety, and I realized I needed to go to therapy. So I can tell you firsthand that it's not easy finding the right person to talk to. But once I found a therapist I felt comfortable with, I started gaining the tools to deal with my anxiety.
And if you're thinking of trying therapy, BetterHelp is a fantastic option. It's convenient, accessible, and entirely online. All you got to do to get connected with a therapist is fill out a quick survey, and you can switch therapists at any time.
So when you're ready to feel the top of your mental health game, therapy can get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
And before we get back to the show, let's get a word in from our sponsor, DraftKings. Hey, Larson.
Yeah.
It's time to get excited because the first Sunday of the NFL is upon us.
Woo!
And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving new customers an offer that is can't miss to celebrate the return of the NFL. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly.
And if that wasn't great already, and it is, there's more. As an added bonus for Week 1, everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. It's super simple. Super simple. It's what you got to do. You bet on any NFL team to win. And if your team leads by 10 at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team loses.
And if the return of the NFL isn't enough for you, there's a huge fight happening in Vegas this Saturday for all the MMA fans out there. I see Nate Diaz is going to be in action on that card, Larson.
Oh, interesting. Well, so download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code RAW to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet this Sunday.
That's code RAW, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Anyways, let's talk about this. Happier news over in WWE where everything seems like rainbows, Larson. Rainbows and
true.
fucking lollipops.
Very true.
Today, September the 6th, 2022, WWE announced that Paul Triple H, the King of Kings, the Cerebral Assassin, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, terrorizing.
Thank you.
Levesque.
Connecticut Blue Blood.
Damn it, I always missed
You always forget that one.
Has been elevated to Chief Content Officer. Additionally, the company has promoted Frank A. Riddick III. I don't know who that is. Moving on. Since taking over for WWE.
I think he's been there for a while.
Has he?
Name sounds familiar, yeah.
President and Chief Financial Officer. Well, good job, Frank. He sounds like a real gold watch guy. Hey, Frank Riddick, here's your gold watch. Anyways, let's talk about Triple H because he's awesome. So, according to this WWE press release, since taking over creative for WWE, Levesque has architected a 15% spike in Monday Night Raw viewership.
Oh, he's the architect, huh?
And double-digit increases in social media engagement. As Chief Content Officer, Levesque will oversee creative writing, talent relations, live events, talent development, and creative services. They just had him write his own press release. The role will report to WWE CEO, co-CEO Nick Khan. WWE is one of the most prolific producers of premium content in the world, and I look forward to this amazing opportunity, said me, Levesque. Having spent my entire career in this business, I'm confident that we have the right pieces in place to continue to grow our audience and deliver for our fans around the world. Also, sleep is very important. You got to get your sleep. Imagine that, Yeah. He says, and then there's the Riddick stuff. I don't care about the gold watch guy. So yeah, man, Chief. Now they just made up a new role for him now to oversee everything that.
Well, I guess if anything, because I think his title before was he was both head of creative and head of talent relations.
Yeah.
And I guess now, rather than that long-winded, wordy title, he just gets, he gets initials. He can just be CCO.
I'm the CCO.
And that sounds like super impressive and important.
Yeah, yeah. John Fear and Loathing here in chat says Frank Riddick smokes cigars. He totally does. Hey, Frank, maybe you should think about getting a little bit of sleep, huh? The 8 hours is always good. Got to get your solid 8, Frank. I just want my gold watch. Anyways. So Raw last night saw the return of Braun Strowman with some very red pants. Get these hands.
Yeah, those were basically not color safe.
Is he going to show up in some not color safe blue pants next week?
He should.
He looked great.
He's in outstanding shape.
In phenomenal shape. He looks happy to be there. He came out and destroyed. I mean, that was my only sort of gripe was that there was like a tag.
He destroyed the tag division, basically.
They just buried the tag division from Braun. And so, yeah, he came out during a fatal 4-way tag match to determine a number one contender. And Braun he was like, I like the Usos too much. I don't want new contenders for the tag titles. So I'm going to come out there and destroy everybody.
No, he's secretly honorary Bloodline member, maybe too.
Mm-hmm, yeah. EC3 from Control Your Narrative had a very nice write-up for Braun, saying good luck. And, this is what Control Your Narrative is all about, creating opportunities for yourself. And he was an integral part. It was a nice 3-paragraph write-up that EC3 gave Braun. So it's great to know that, he's wishing him well on his way. I think Braun was a big part of Control Your Narrative. So, we'll poke some fun at Control Your Narrative here and there. But any place that's, allowing wrestlers to make some money, I think is a good thing. And Braun really helped set that company up to succeed. So hopefully they'll continue to succeed. Braun showed up. Also, probably even more wild than that, Dom has officially seemingly joined the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
If his attire is to be believed, if his demeanor is to be believed.
Of what Rhea Ripley asked to say is to be believed.
Mm-hmm, yep. Yeah, this was good stuff. Now, let me ask you this. Is there any chance that Dom's a sleeper agent within Judgment Day?
He's going deep cover. It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
He has gone deep cover, but I think the more interesting story is that he hasn't.
I know, me too. I know. I loved it, man, when he came out, when Rhea said, what was her line? I forget what it was. Yeah, Rhea comes to the ramp, says, Ray's, he's not Ray's baby boy anymore because I saw potential in him and made him a man. Oh, I popped so hard for that line.
Yeah.
And then Dom comes dressed in like his best waiter black outfit.
Yeah. He's got the vest. He's got the button-up shirt.
And just a cold expression on his face the
Yeah.
entire time.
Yeah. Well, his hair is kind of like slicked back
And
off
it's
his
slicked
face too.
back,
Yeah.
So I thought that was really great. So I'm pretty intrigued by this whole Dom Judgment Day storyline. They got the shirts now. You haven't turned on the shirts, man. It's got wings on the back. I thought it's got a cool logo and an illustration on the front.
I know, like I said, the illustration's fine at all. It just feels like it's a lot for knowing how WWE prints their shirts. It's a lot for a T-shirt because they use, like, at least they used to, the really heavy silkscreen.
Well, this is my speculation. I might order one of these just so we can get confirmation on this.
Good. You
I
think
honestly
it's the direct to garment type stuff?
Either it's direct to garment, or even better than that, it's the one where they like suck the ink out of it or whatever.
Yeah.
Where it's like it just feels like cloth. It could be that because it's just white. So that's a possibility. If it is,
what's the
you
cheapest
say,
process to use? Because that's what they're going to use for that.
direct to garment is the cheapest.
Okay, and that's probably what it is then.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. What did you think of Raw last night, dude? I love the way it closed.
Yeah, that bit where Loomis pops out from under the ring and they have the overhead camera angle as Miz is trying to get out of the cage. That was cool.
Yeah, that was really neat.
Yeah, it was fine. It was a perfectly fine episode of Raw.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that stuff. I liked all the stuff with the women's division with Bianca and Damage Control and all them. I thought that was really good stuff too.
Yeah.
It looks like if the background of things is to be believed, Nikki ASH might be breaking up a Dewdrop, and Nikki took off her mask too.
And threw it at Dewdrop too.
And threw it at Dewdrop, says don't want this anymore. So yeah. No, I thought it was a pretty fun episode of Raw. It moved along pretty well. It's maybe in your words, a bit on the talky side.
It was very talky, yeah.
There was quite a bit of talking going on. I did appreciate Austin Theory seems to be quite a bit more dynamic on the mic, and I love Kevin Owens. Pretty sure Kevin Owens had a little bit of low-key shade at CM Punk. Said there seems to be a lot of arrogant people in this business these days, something like that.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. It seemed like Kevin Owens sort of on the down low was enjoying this CM Punk more than a lot of people with the tweets about him and Austin main eventing WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Two things that Punk really wanted: a match with Austin and main event WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Owens did it all in the one, and all because CM Punk slighted him for the T-shirt stuff in Ring of Honor. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here's the Judgment Day thing. I don't think I'll be able to suss it out just looking at it here. Let's see if it says.
Oh, as far as what? Yeah, it might say
details.
Sometimes
screen print graphics.
All right, so that's gonna be heavy.
That might be just there. The thing is, though, there's a lot of black in the actual thing. I might have to.
There was that Undertaker shirt I had too, but the graphic was so large, and they used the real thick stuff. At least they did the real thick silk screen, and it was just really heavy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's why I didn't like it on a shirt.
Yeah. Oh man, I loved it. I thought it was great. Didn't have one of my own. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this, man.
Sure,
Opened up with an Edge promo on this day. He says, "I've known Dom since Ray came to WWE. We used to sit in catering and peg people with bean shooters." With what?
I don't know what that is. I looked it up. It's a real thing, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure the notes are right here. I'm not saying something completely ridiculous.
No, I looked at. I heard him say that. I actually paused the show so I could look it up, but I just saw it was a real thing, and because I want to make sure I was hearing it correctly too.
Is it like the straw thing? What are those spitballs?
I would think so. Yeah,
something like that.
I imagine it's something like spitballs
with beans. Yeah. He says when they ran shows in San Diego, I'd stay at the Mysterio's home. He says just last year I was the one who calmed Dom down before his first match in front of a live audience. He says he always felt like a nephew to me. So what's going on, man? Is it because I speared you? I apologize for that. He says my gut told me to take care of it, but my heart overrode my gut. And you said you don't need to worry about Dom, and said, hey, I don't need to worry about him. He says I didn't come back to get between Ray and Dom. I came back to help because I feel like Judgment Day is my fault, my responsibility. They're making Ray and Dom's life hell. But after what Dom did to me and Ray, he says, I know Ray raised Dom better than that. I'm like, I don't know about that. He put his custody up on the line in a ladder match. He says, we can hash it out, but I'm not looking at Dom like the kid I saw grow up. I'm looking at him like a WWE superstar. Get in the ring. We're not going to talk. I'm going to beat your ass. This really kind of disturbed me, Larson. I'll tell you why.
It did.
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So as you know, I've got a couple stepkids. I've known them since they've been like between 5 and 10 years old, right? And now they're all like grown adults and everything, right? Like the oldest one's 22, youngest one is like 18, I think. I still see them as kids. I still see them as kids. So even if, my youngest stepkid who's like 18, even if there was some sort of like violence against me, I wouldn't be like, hey, kid, come out here. I'm looking at you like a superman, beat your ass. I'm like, if you knew a kid from that age and you are like familia to him,
Yeah.
that's kind of disturbing. Be like, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to try to talk this through. I'm going to beat your ass.
Yeah.
That's why it disturbed me. I'm just sort of half
for Edge.
I'm half joking here, but yeah, I was like, come on, man. You're not going to talk this out a little bit?
No, try to talk it out. This is WWE where they don't talk stuff out.
Yeah,
so Ray walks to the ring and says, Edge, hear me out. I know my son is messed up right now, but I'm asking for an apology on his behalf. He's still my son. Please don't do this. And then Edge says, Ray, you know I love you, but your son is old enough to drink. He's old enough to drive. He's old enough to stand this ring, and he's old enough to stand in this ring for his actions. And then Ray just kind of, all right. So Edge calls out Dom again. Said Rhea comes to the ramp, and she tells Edge, hey, calm down at Clash. You both got what you had coming to you. Edge thought you could replace Dom, and Ray thought that he could protect his son, but guess what? Dom's not your baby boy anymore, because I saw the potential in him and made him a man. And that's when Dom walks out. He's dressed in all black button-up shirt, vest, pants. And Ray tells Dom, snap out of it. You still have time. Make amends with Edge. Let's make things right. And Rhea asks Ray why he's not getting it through his skull. Dom's not listening to you anymore. And you can't fight his battles for him anymore either. And Edge is past your time because you can't stop your Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
And so Rhea and Dom walk to the ring, and Ray just tells Edge, hey, I want to be a part of this. And so he just walks out of the ring and starts walking up the ramp. He steps up to Dom, but Dom's just like looking past him, not even looking at him.
Yeah.
And Ray's just pleading with him, don't do this. Don't do this. And finally, he's like, all right. And he walks up the ramp.
I mean, it's just like, Dad, what do you expect me to do? I'm a man in my sexual prime, and you want me to continue having my dad make his wrestling entrance on my shoulders, or she made me a man, Dad. You need to skedaddle out of here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the easiest decision. This ain't LeBron leaving for the fucking, for South Beach. Yeah. This is the easiest decision I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So anyways, Rhea and Dom walk closer to the ring, so Edge has his focus on them. Finn and Damian Priest attack Edge from behind. He manages to fend them off till Dom hits the ring, chop blocks Edge. Ray comes back to ringside. He's basically just wagging his finger at Dom.
Mm-hmm.
He makes a move for the ring. Dom stops him. Rhea blasts Ray from behind and throws him into the ring steps. Priest hits Edge with a choke slam. Rhea hands a chair to Dom. Dom hands that chair to Finn. Finn takes that chair to Edge's leg, puts the chair on his knee, hits a coup de grace on top of it. And then Ray, rather than chasing after Judgment Day to get his son, he goes in the ring and checks on Edge.
I would have blasted Edge in the first place if he called out my son to beat his ass. I'd be like, look, I know he just low-blowed you, but you've done a lot of shit things in your day too, and this is my son. This is what separates me from Ray, in that I'm a good dad. Ray's a shit dad. He is. What is this? Okay, Ray, you gonna beat my son's ass over my dead body, motherfucker? I don't care. We were tag team champions 20 years ago.
At Clash of the Castle, Dom walks off. Does Ray chase after him? No. He comforts Edge.
He cuddles Edge. What did Edge do that was so great, Ray? He's your son. You put his custody on the line in a ladder match. God, he's terrible as a dad. As a dad.
Yeah.
Anyways. So yeah, I think they're probably writing Edge out till like Extreme Rules, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. So earlier today, Miz and Ciampa have arrived at the arena. To precede this also, because it's relevant to this segment, earlier in the day, WWE tweeted or Instagrammed out, social media'd out some pictures of a car that had been tipped over in the Raw parking lot.
Yes.
And so Sarah asked Miz, what happened last week when you left? There was a dude in the back of your car. He's like, I don't want to talk about it. I drove to my hotel. I flew home. I went on vacation. And that's it. I don't want anything else that happened. I don't want to talk about it. Ciampa says, Sarah, you're trying to stir up drama. Mike here is the victim. And Miz is like, did it ever occur to you to ask how I'm feeling? She's like, I'm sorry, Miz. How are you? None of your business. He says, tonight I'm getting a chance to face Lashley for the U.S. title. And they walk up to a car and Ciampa's, or they start walking and Ciampa points as if Miz wouldn't notice this.
This steaming, smoking car that's upside down, yeah.
A couple of security guards just like roaming around it with their phones, acting like they're talking into them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we had that 4-way tag match to our new number one contenders. Early on, Woods and Garza are going at it. It's great. The wrestling of this match was really, really fun. There was a lot of really fun moments.
Mm-hmm.
Early on, though, Garza, he rips off his pants, goes and tags in Kofi.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Kofi and Xavier Woods in the ring. And they're hesitant at first. They're like, all right. They shake hands. They kind of circle each other. And then Woods hits the mat. Kofi covers him. The ref gets to 1.5. Everybody comes in to break it up.
They tried.
It was pretty great.
That was good. That was pretty awesome. Yeah, I love that.
And then they eventually send everybody out of the ring, hit double topes. A lot of really, really fun stuff. Down towards the end, though, Gable's got forward in an ankle lock. You hear, Braun!
Mm-hmm.
Braun comes to the ring. He just takes everybody out. Security tries to break it up. He takes them out, too. Hits one of them with a massive powerbomb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That powerbomb was rough.
Yeah, that was ugly. Small tweak to this. Let's get some number one contenders. So let's finish the match, and then as everybody's in the ring, sort of maybe shaking hands. I mean, this is, I know there's some good guys and bad guys here, but there's no reason why they can't all sort of be on the same page.
They
then
just went
Braun
through a thing
comes
together,
out. They just went through a thing together, and then, no, that's good. And then Braun comes out.
No,
and then,
I'm saying Braun comes out. He does what he does. They all went through the Braun thing together, so there's an understanding there. Mm-hmm. But then, there's a couple people that are still like Montez and the New Day. They weren't involved in this beatdown at all.
Yeah, right.
They can get back in the ring and then they convince the ref, hey, let's just finish this match.
Yeah,
we're all good. They finished the match. We have number one contenders.
I like that idea because they're like, oh, fuck those guys. Who cares about them? I like that, but. What if you just let them finish the match and then they're all in there together, best men here won, and then Braun comes out and they're kind of a unified front, and then he buries the tag division even more. Maybe that's a worse idea.
Yeah, that'd be burying the tag division even more. Yeah.
Anyways, during picture-in-picture, Braun is just annihilating Gable, puts him in the ring, hits him with a power slam.
Oh, he put Dawkins through the announce table before the commercial break,
that's
too.
Right. Yeah, he did that. Power slam.
He did the choo-choo thing to Otis.
He did the choo-choo thing. He slipped at one point when I guess he was going to try to get Chad Gable or something. That was kind of funny. But you know what? Good for Braun. I hope. I mean, obviously, I think he's probably going to be the next Roman guy, right? Do they have a Saudi show coming up? Is that what you were saying earlier?
October is Extreme Rules. November is Survivor Series. So maybe if there is, it won't be till the end of the year.
It could be. Because Braun later on said that he's going to be on SmackDown. This week. So yeah, maybe they're just lining up people for Roman. I don't know.
That would make sense. After that, we had Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez taking on Nikki ASH and Doudrop. I believe this is for the tag titles. The finish of this one saw so Aaliyah was taken out pretty early. She was isolated. She eventually gets a hot tag to Raquel. She goes on a run. She looks for a powerbomb on Doudrop. Can't hit it. Doudrop trips up Raquel, hits a senton, gets it too. So Doudrop's looking for a Vader bomb. And Aaliyah runs off the apron and takes out Nikki with a Luthez press. And this distracts Doudrop enough that Raquel can get up, hit her finish to get the win.
Yep, that Tahana bomb was super impressive, mildly scary because obviously Doudrop a bit larger, and Raquel getting her up there was pretty cool. After that, we had a Rey Mysterio interview. He's just sitting, looking so lost on a crate. And he says, not much to say other than, I love my son. Do you, Ray? And I need to have a word with him in private. He says, but go over that door over there and I just hear noises that I didn't know Dad should really have to hear. He did say that. He said, Judgment Day is trying to tear my life apart, separate me from my son. Yeeho. They just took out Edge, who's like family to me. He says, I'll never put hands on my son, but nobody deserves to have their ass kicked more than Judgment Day. So I challenge Finn or Priest or whoever anybody else is from Judgment Day to a match tonight. He got Damian Priest later on.
He did. Then we get an Austin Theory promo. He's really selling the jaw, and he actually, whenever he would flub during this promo, he would just blame it on his jaw, and it was actually pretty effective.
Yeah,
he called Clash of the Castle Crown Jewel.
Yeah, and they said, just kidding, I meant Clash of the Castle. He said, just kidding. And then, he holds his jaw. He's like, this thing hurts. It was pretty good. I like this promo here. A little long, but I liked it.
It was. Both this and the back and forth between Owens was a little long. So he says, things didn't go as planned on Saturday, but I can say Clash of the Castle was an absolute success. He says, I'm sure all the fans wanted to see me fail my cash in, but here I am, still Mr. Money in the Bank, and that just guarantees I'll be the future champ. He says, unlike the fans, when I get knocked down, I get back up, even when it's a sucker punch from Tyson Fury. He says Roman's still a champ, and he hates to admit this, but he's actually glad Roman still has the belt because, for one, Drew completely embarrassed himself, and two, he and Roman have some unfinished business. Soon he'll cash in his contract and end Roman's 2 years reign as champion. He's interrupted by Kevin Owens.
Wow. So Kevin Owens walks to the ramp. He says, what's wrong with your jaw? Oh, I remember. You got knocked the hell out. He says, you got, get this, KO'd. Get it? And then the crowd starts chanting, you got KO'd. He says, I despise arrogant and delusional people more than anything. There seems to be quite a bunch of those in wrestling these days. He says, Theory won't be the last one of those people, but right now, Theory's at the very top of that list. He says, a great example is that Austin Theory is complaining about what Tyson Fury did, but what Fury did was do Theory a favor, because if you would have cashed in, either Drew or Roman would have beat you. And Theory's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're jealous. You're a guy who's always talking about championships, but hasn't won one in 5 years. Well, I'm doing things you could never do. He says, I kind of feel bad for you, so I'll give you the first title shot after I win that title from Roman. And Kevin Owens says, he says, you know what? I know Drew and Roman would destroy you because I've been in the ring with both of them. I was just in the ring with Drew a couple weeks ago, and Drew couldn't beat me. I was on the verge of beating him if it wasn't for the Usos. He says, as far as Roman's concerned, 18 months ago, he said, I had him beat, and I would have become the Universal Champion if it wasn't for Jey Uso and Paul Heyman's antics. I would have ended Roman's history-making run 6 months in. He says, I also know that the reason Theory has the contract is because I wasn't in the Money in the Bank match. If I was, I would have destroyed you. I would have grabbed the contract, and I'd be the guy to take Roman down. Theory says, yeah, all that sounds like a great fairy tale. He says, but this is reality, and the reality is I'm the hand-picked future of this business, and you're just trying to stay relevant. Kevin Owens says, you know what? I'll give you that. I do everything I can to stay relevant, but that's why I am where I am today. He says, you were the hand-picked future of this business, but not anymore. And I bet any second now. He says, we all know what's going to happen now. I know what's going to happen. Nobody else pays attention. He says, any second now, a ref is going to run down from the back and slide into this ring. And sure enough, Jack Daddy comes running down, slides into the ring. The camera work, the TV work on this was lame because they didn't show it happening, and I think that was the whole point.
Yeah, I know.
And he says, okay, enough talking. Let's fight. And at a certain point also, it's not mentioned here in the notes, but he also congratulated Austin for getting his first name back.
Yes, he did. And we had that match, and it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They give this one lots of time, several commercial breaks.
Yes.
And it was good. I was kind of surprised. I thought they might go for the no winner thing here, but they're obviously telling a story where Austin Theory needs to figure out how to win. If he can't win against, I know they're building up Kevin Owens in a big way, but if you expect to beat Roman Reigns, you have to be able to beat Kevin Owens. And even though Theory annihilated him on the outside against those steps, which I haven't seen somebody do.
I don't know how Kevin Owens takes that bump. That's like the second or third time he's done that. I don't know.
Oh, is it? I have not noticed that before.
He's done that before.
Oh, man. Oh, it is ugly.
It is.
And so, he did the thing where he throws Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is essentially sort of sitting on either the ground or the first step, and Austin throws him back first into the
edges of the step.
The edges of the steps. In the end, though, Kevin Owens ends up getting that fisherman suplex off the top, which is my new favorite move from him.
Oh, I love that.
And
remember the first time he did that in his first match against John Cena. I'm like, what the heck was that?
Yeah, right.
Never seen that before.
Then he hits a pop-up powerbomb and a stunner to get the win clean over Austin Theory. Mm-hmm. Dude, I don't know. I know he approached Gargano later, who announced that he's going to have his first match next week. I get the idea that Gargano is either going to be on the precipice of a win and Austin Theory out of jealousy is going to, bust that up. Or Gargano's going to win and Austin Theory is just going to attack him afterwards out of jealousy that he got that win. And that'll be his first feud. I don't know, but clearly they're going to do Theory versus Gargano as their first thing.
You would think so. Then we have a Ciampa and Miz interview. So Sarah walks up, and when she does that, it freaks out the Miz because he wasn't expecting anybody to walk up to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, again, I don't want to talk about what. I don't want to talk about the man who shall not be named.
Yeah.
And Sarah says, well, I didn't want to talk about that. I want to talk about your match tonight. The Ciampa steps in and says, last week Lashley got lucky. If it weren't for outside distractions, Miz would have won. And that's why Miz issued the challenge tonight. He says he knows 1-1, I'm better than Lashley. Or sorry, Miz is better than Lashley. The Miz says he's the only 2-time Grand Slam champ of the company. Tonight in the cage, nothing is going to stop him from walking out U.S. champ.
Yup. We had a extended Clash of the Castle video package, and then Damage Control walking backstage. And in the background, we see Nikki and Doudrop arguing. Nikki throws her mask at Doudrop. Then we had a Damage Control promo. Bayley says, we were victorious at Clash of the Castle. We sent Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka home packing. Laughs a bunch. Kai says, if we can do that to their best, imagine what we can do to the rest of the women's roster. We're taking control again. And then Io says, next week we're taking the women's tag title. So, yeah, next week they've got a tag title shot against Raquel and Aaliyah.
Yeah.
And Kai says, I wasn't legal last week, so they can pretend to be champs for one more week until we take back what's ours. And Bayley says, they went through an unfair decision, but we're still able to come together and overcome. And I still beat Bianca. She says, I beat Bianca, who hadn't been pinned in over 300 days, something the idiots couldn't do in almost the whole time I was gone. And we did it in one night. And then Bayley's interrupted by Bianca, who that suit looked like she was wearing her Tron. It looked so futuristic.
Amazing.
And her confidence on the mic is so palpable these days. She gets that crowd to start chanting EST. It has been such a delight watching her develop over the past, 5 years or whatever.
It really has been. So she says to Bayley, you're right. You got the better of me at Clash of the Castle, but I put my pride aside and show up tonight. And if you want a challenge, then a challenge you'll get. Let's have a match tonight. And Bayley says, no, it's Labor Day, so I'm not working. All we're going to do is celebrate that I beat you. And Bianca says, well, last I checked, it took all 3 of you to take me down. But if that's what it takes to make you feel like you're in control, sure, fine. She says, Bayley, you might have your minions, but I've got the title. And unless it's 1-on-1, and unless you got this belt, you're in control of nothing. And Bayley just goes, oh, is that right? And so then the 3 of them, Damage Control, they surround Bianca. And then Bayley leads them all out of the ring. And Bayley says, I already beat you. I have nothing else to prove. You're always trying to play Miss Perfect, but I know that your ego can't handle one loss, so you come out and challenge me to a match to try to prove that that loss was a fluke. It's not all about you, Bianca. So we could have ended you right here, right now. We have better things to worry about, like winning the tag titles next week. But if and when I want that title, I'm going to get it one way, and then I think Io steps forward, and then she goes, or another. And then I think Dakota Kai steps forward. I might have the order mixed up. But.
I thought that was really good. Maggie on Twitter retweeted something that somebody said about, I think it was, I forget who it was. I don't want to misattribute this. But how Bayley is always trying to get the other 2 a spotlight. And it makes the faction stronger, and you got to love to see that stuff. Even as a bad guy, she's trying to get her other bad guys up there with her. After that, we had a Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano interview. He says, I've been swimming with sharks my whole career, and I think I've been doing pretty well for myself. I was proud of my time in NXT, but I got a few more goals I want to accomplish, and I think Austin Theory may have forgotten what I'm capable of in that ring, but I'm very excited to remind everybody. And Theory steps in and says, no one cares. He says, since you've come back, all you've been doing is talking. You might as well be Johnny Talking. He was very proud of himself for that one.
He was, but he was still selling jaw, so he's like proud, but couldn't really smile all the way,
Gargano says, yeah, you're right. He says, but before I was rudely interrupted, I was going to announce the next week on Raw, I'm going to return to the ring in action. He says, you don't look good. He says, you don't look so good. You got to be careful out there, man.
Yeah. Talk about all those sharks. You got to be careful out there.
Yeah, that's right.
Then we had Rey Mysterio versus Damian Priest.
I don't want one of these crumble cookies that Maggie got me for my birthday.
Those look very good. I want to try one of those French toast ones. So at one point, at some point, Judgment Day came out. I'm trying to find. Oh, here we go. So Ray's looking for 619. Dom gets on the apron as he's approaching Priest. So Ray puts on the brakes. And then Finn gets on the apron like 90 degrees away. So Ray turns to him, takes a swing. Finn ducks. And then to Ray's right, Rhea tries to sneak into the ring. And he sees Rhea try to get in. He points the ref in that direction. All that distraction allows Priest a chance to hit a clothesline and then a choke slam to get the win. Afterwards, Rhea grabs a mic, says, now that Priest is done with you, Ray, there's just one more man left in the way, and Dom's going to send him back in retirement. Because what Poppy wants, Poppy gets. That's why Dom is challenging Edge to a match next week.
Yeah, man. Oh, that was good.
It was
that's good, dude.
Rhea's doing exceptional work right now.
She really is. She's doing all the talking for him. It's great.
It's fantastic.
I made him a man. Oh, what a line. What a fucking line. He's not daddy's baby boy anymore. Oh, man. After that, we had a Bobby Lashley interview. He says the only reason Miz wants to be locked in a cage is because he thinks it'll keep him safe from Dexter Lumis. But you're going to be standing across the ring from the most dangerous man in WWE. He says, I don't know what Miz's issue is with Lumis, but when that door closes, the only one Miz needs to be afraid of is Bobby Lashley.
Yep.
Lashley.
Got a quick Braun interview. He just says, I'm back. No one is safe. See you on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hands.
And then the camera lingered on him as he walked. That dude walks so stiff. I love Braun, man, and I hope he brings that Braun that we saw in his last match in WWE because he was doing some shit, but he's so big, and he's put so much mileage, I think, already on his knees.
I know.
He sort of waddles off.
I know.
Oh, man. Anyways, after that, we had some post Clash of the Castle interview stuff. First from Riddle, saying my emotions got the better of me and Seth took advantage and stopped my brains into the canvas. But the one thing I want for sure is another match against Seth, and I want it now as soon as possible. I'm going to get it. And then we had Seth Rollins after the Clash reacting to that. He says, I admire Riddle's guts. He's got moxie. The bottom line is I did what I said I was going to do. 60,000 fans singing my song, and I stomped Riddle's head on the mat twice. And while I admire Riddle's guts, a rematch isn't in the cards. I'm moving on to better things. Ha ha ha.
Off he laughs as he exits the door. And then we got our main event. Miz versus Bob Lashley in the steel cage for the U.S. title. I actually quite like Miz going on the being the aggressor here. Start him and Ciampa double teaming Lashley before the match even officially starts. So as the ring announcer is introducing the match, Miz grabs the U.S. title from the ref and blast Lashley with it. With Ciampa's help, they pull him out of the ring and they're double teaming him all over the floor. They push him into the ring steps, into the ring post shoulder first. Hit Lashley with the ring steps, slam his arm into the announce table, take a chair to it. Ciampa hits him with a running knee, and they finally put him back in the ring. Miz covers, only gets a 2.
Yeah.
This was actually a pretty well booked cage match.
This is a really fun match, and Ciampa is so fucking good. Like the team, like I never would have thought if before Ciampa got called up, it was gonna be like, oh, they're gonna pair him with Miz.
Well, it'd be like, ugh.
Under Vince McMahon, that'd have been god awful. These days, dude, I will give the benefit of the doubt to anything they do, because it's like I never would have thought Ciampa and Miz would make such a good team, but they are both killing it. They really are.
Tons of fun. So the finish saw Miz crawling for the door. Lashley pulls him back in, throws Miz across the ring. He tries to leave through the doors. Ciampa rams the door into Lashley's head. Well, Lashley just pushes the door back at Ciampa. But the Miz comes up, starts banging the door against Lashley's head repeatedly. But rather than just go through the front door with Lashley laying there, he tries to climb over the top. And so he climbs up, starts to make his descent, and he looks down, and Lumis had emerged from under the ring. He's just laying on the floor.
That shit was so funny because he's just sitting there like
not moving. So Miz climbs back into the ring. Lumis gets up, kind of stares at him. Miz is talking to him. Lashley hits the spear to get the win. Lumis climbs into the ring, And the Miz is looking at him as Loomis is approaching. He's basically pooping his pants. And he crawls towards the door. Lashley shuts it on him. Mm-hmm. So Miz tries to climb out. Loomis pulls him back in the ring, puts silence on him, and then Miz passes out in Loomis's arms as the show goes off the air.
Yep. So let's go ahead and answer some questions. If you can't make the show live, we put up a questions thread for all of our recaps, and you can ask your questions there. Doesn't matter if you're in the audio realm or if you're in the video realm. Whatever realm you reside in, we have that available for you.
Yes.
And you can get there at patreon.com/Steve and Larson.
Before we answer questions, I know people here in chat are saying, I want to wish you, a lot of people here in chat, I want to wish Steve here a happy birthday, myself included.
Thank you very much.
Today is Steve's birthday, so if you want to, take to Twitter, social media platform of choice, wish Steve a happy birthday.
52 long years on this mortal coil.
I know. You don't look a day older than 49.
Appreciate it. That's very nice of you to say. That's very nice.
3 years under your actual age, I know.
Yeah. I look like I did in 2019. And I want to give a special thanks. I mentioned a second ago, but Maggie, God bless her soul, she sent this amazing crumble box to my front door, and it's got these awesome cookies in it. This is the biggest fucking chocolate. Look at the size of these chocolate chunks in these things.
Those are massive. Those are chunks. How large was that cookie before you devoured part of it?
I don't know. It was like
you can use your hands. Like what's the circumference?
Recreate. It was like this.
That's a good sized cookie.
It was a big ass cookie, and they got a couple here that like a French toast, French toast cookie. It's got like some sort of like sugary gob of it looks like butter on top of it, like a French toast would have like a bit. Wow. I don't know what it is, but it looks amazing. I'm gonna have one of those later, at least part of it. Might be too much. We got some new friendos here on the Patreon. Casey9129, Parker Hamlet, Double H, Ryan Christie, Rob Christofferson. Christofferson is such a great last name.
It is a great name,
especially when your first name is Chris, though.
Yes.
Chris Christofferson. It's like one of my favorite names. And then Who's also. Thank you so much for all your support. We appreciate it. The first question today comes to us from the Yellow Flash. Will Austin Theory successfully cash in? I don't think they know yet. If there's a good story that goes along with a failed cash in, I think that'll probably happen. But if they can get Austin Theory to where they want him, he will successfully cash in. I believe that's the case.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think you're right. It's all about the story they could put together, and if they can come up with a story they're happy with, then they'll do it.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Blake Whitehouse says, happy birthday. Thank you. He says, simple question. Who should Braun's first two feuds be with?
Well, it'll probably be Roman.
Yeah.
You can just say, I'm not finished with you.
You know what would be kind of cool? Put Braun with Bray. If they bring Bray back, Braun shows up on SmackDown, but it's not really to like challenge Roman. Yeah. It's to be the herald of Bray Wyatt.
The harbinger.
Right, yeah. Say, you're not going to get these hands, you're going to get his hands. And then like red lights come on or something like that. I don't know. And he's just there to like be Bray's battering ram. And he's there to soften up Roman because he did that a lot in 2017. He's just there to make Roman's life a living hell. He doesn't get to feuds with anybody else. He's just there to constantly make Roman's life a living hell while the Fiend plays mind games. And then Roman beats him lol.
Okay. All right. Makes sense.
Yeah. Let's see here. Timur Rockman says, I attended Clash on Saturday and had a ton of fun. The crowd and atmosphere was next level. That looked like an amazing crowd.
It really did. It really did.
So the highlight for me was Edge's entrance where I screamed my lungs out and sang along with the rest of the crowd. Unforgettable experience. What is your favorite wrestler entrance that you've witnessed live in person? Nothing. And I know we've said this a million times. Seth Rollins cashing in.
Well, the question is entrance. Favorite entrance we've seen.
Yeah, that entrance was amazing.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I guess he did run.
Well, when his music hit. But in terms of like what actual entrance, maybe more in the spirit of the question, Is there like a better?
I mean, we were there when the Hardys came back in WWE.
Yeah, I was so miserable.
And to be in that
point,
crowd, that was kind of like the highlight of that WrestleMania.
Yeah, even that didn't save it for me.
When we went to the New Japan show, the second one of the 2 nights in a row, and we were sitting ringside, and Naito had his entrance, and we got fist bumps.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a really good one. Ooh, yeah, that is a really good one. Yeah, that's good. Let's see here. Nick Kyle says, "How do you debut Legado del Fantasma on main roster?" I guess like you wouldn't do the Ray Dom stuff because that's like
instead of you could have Ray saying, "I need backup. Edge is out. I'm worried he's going to destroy my son, and I want that to happen because he's like family to me. I'm gonna make a call." And he calls Legado.
I need somebody who everybody would be comfortable with punching Rhea Ripley, and that's Elektra Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad idea. I like that. Legado. Santos is our champion. Cameron says, what does Braun have against the tag division? Confuses me. Why are you in and you're not in? Get hands. Why are you only using hands to let the other person in?
The expectation, if you're on the apron, you should be in the ring as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. He thinks everything should be a tornado match. Confuses me. So that's why.
Dan Daniels here asked us, is CM Punk or the Elite being sent to Ring of Honor to work there out of the question? Yes, that's not going to happen.
That would be fucking amazing.
Tony Khan calls Phil into his office. It appears now, Phil, the situation here is untenable, so I have no choice. I have to send you to Ring of Honor.
He's like, here's the thing, I'm going to put you in a tag team with
you and Ace Steel seem close enough, so you're going to revive your tag team. I didn't know if Ace Steel could wrestle.
I'm going to put you in a faction, you, Ace Steel, Rhett Titus. Y'all are going to be in a faction together. CM Punk Enterprises. It's gonna be really good stuff.
No. Phil Brooks Enterprises, Steve.
Phil Brooks Enterprises. Hey, what's his face? Khan did refer to him as Phil at one point.
I know. Is that when he was asking if he can have one of his sparkling waters?
Yeah, I think so.
It's one of his Spindrift.
And he's like, and your producer for your first match is going to be Colt Cabana. Okay, I'll talk to you later. I got to go, Phil. I got this whole Fulham thing going right now. Oh, man. That'd be right. He's like, got good news and bad news. Good news is you get to wear those cool basketball shorts.
They seem very comfortable.
Yeah, the bad news, you're going to be making $200 per appearance. Let's see here. We've talked about that already. Brendan Monroe says, in kayfabe, why is Rey Mysterio's kids fascinated with Australians? That's going to do it for us today, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Ray was a huge Crocodile Dundee fan. That's why. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.